Hello, and welcome back to the 6th Street Underground, a Zenless Zone Zero podcast discussing all things ZZZ. As always, I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by my ever-wonderful co-host, Brian. Hi, Brian.
What's up, Eric?
How are you today?
I'm feeling Delulu.
Yeah, we're coming to you live again from the basement of 404. Trying to get a podcast in between rehearsals by different music groups, including the Angels of Delusion and a whole bunch of homages to other bands that I don't recognize, but people online in the Discord are very excited to see.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've gotten none of the references.
I think one of them is Bocchi the Rock, and I got the Bocchi the Rock reference. But after that, I'm like, I don't know. This is probably something, and I'm glad it's making people happy.
When in doubt, BTS.
Yeah, probably, Brian. I'm pretty sure BTS. Isn't that all boys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The opposite of Zenless Zone Zero. Oops, a boy slipped in every now and then. So this is our version 2.6 story recap episode, which means if you have been kind of sitting on doing version 2.6 for the story and you do want to avoid spoilers, I don't think there's a lot of major spoilers, but if you want to avoid spoilers, pause, come back. It'll take you maybe 4 hours total. This one's a lot shorter than 2.5. I did not find it
very long.
No.
As far as once I actually sat down and did it, it is not a long story. And there's, I think, like you said, there's not a ton in here. Mm-hmm. This one is like a side episode where you get to meet the Delulus.
Yeah.
Well, technically the Angels of Delusions, because the Delulus are the fans.
The Delulus are us. I will say, I think you and I were texting. I messaged like, hey, man, I finished it. I'm ready to go to record. And you're like, I have not. And I think I told you, like, it's a little bit, I don't want to say slow, but a little bit like more like steadily paced for the first half. And then the second half kicks in and it's just going and then it's over.
Yeah, the beginning is definitely more like they're introducing you to all the characters, so it just takes its time.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, are you good, man?
Yeah. Poke myself in the eye. Just ignore me. Keep going.
Yep, totally. All right. Keep it rolling. This one, I think it was a really nice, it felt, I know people have said this before and we've kind of said it before, it felt like a little bit of a return back to like early version 1.x ZZZ in terms of like the stakes a little bit, and like the lighthearted, like the willingness to lean into kind of like the comedy bits or the goofy bits, but still building off of a lot of the stuff they'd done in the previous version. So we'll kind of dive into it. We'll talk through the major events. We're gonna try not to make this one a super long episode. But yeah, let's talk about the adventures of Zenless Zone Zero's very own Powerpuff Girls trio, the Angels of Delusion.
That's our cut sound.
That's it. There it is. That's transitioning into talking about Suna, Arya, and Nangang. And most importantly,
Cersei, the best one.
Cersei and Cecilia and Vesper. I mean, what's the setup? They're putting on a show.
We've returned to 6th Street.
Briefly.
So they did that, the little, we've more or less, they have story-wise established we have officially returned to 6th Street by now.
Yep.
We're still going back and forth, and Gilded Carrot Day was going to be held in Phylum Heights, but we are back in 6th Street, and we are getting everything ready, and it starts out where like there's a little bit of an issue with the hard disk drive, the HDD.
Yeah, the HDD is glitching out. She's like Fairy's acting weird. Fairy's and this was an interesting, like, it's been so long since we've been around Fairy that I was like, is this out of normal or is just like it's been a while since I've seen Fairy deal with fairy things?
I literally I put down and I'm like, I was like, this sounds weird. I was like, has she been replaced? And no, this is just them giving Fairy more time, giving her more of her like sassy personality.
Yep.
At least that's how it turns out. Because I was convinced that like maybe Yokai had somehow managed to like block her off for a second and was pretending to be her.
Yeah.
But it was not that at all. She was just like, I have to devote a bunch of time to fixing weird stuff that's going on, and then Jane's back.
And then Jane comes back, and we're so glad Jane's back.
I do like where she was like, hey, this is too important for us to keep playing this cat and mouse game. I'm just going to come out and say that I need a higher faith in.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. This must really mean something, because she loves to play those kinds of games. I think it's a combination of like, this is important, and also Jane knows that at the time she's wrangling Sissia, and is like, I don't have time to deal with two of you.
I don't have the time or the patience.
We can't keep doing this. So we find out that PubSec and co are investigating this like rogue AI, and there's been reports of construct citizens acting out and doing wild things, and then going back to normal again, with their eyes turning purple, and this is bad. Clearly, this is bad. I was a little bit surprised that like Ching Yi wasn't involved in that conversation, but I think they were like, she's susceptible.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of expecting Ching Yi, and there was a couple times they referenced a PubSec construct that had gone, so I was like, maybe? But I don't think, like, judging by the fact that, like, Zhu Yuan never mentioned anything. And I mean, it could also be very well that, like, that'll be happening in the second part of the story because they still have to do a whole nother story where they introduce Nangong and why she's still relevant. And then Sissia is going to be on the second half. So that could be our introduction back to PubSec with something going on with Ching Mi. Or they just didn't want to do it twice. Because
it would muddy the waters too, right? Like if the whole thing in this whole story has been about like Arya and then Arya's relationship with another intelligent construct, putting in a third. Well, I say that, but they did bring in Banyue to talk to her.
They did, but they brought him in to talk and like not to be affected by yokai.
And I'm glad they brought Banyue in. We'll get to that point, but he was very sweet. It was a very kind interaction.
Yeah.
So we know there's this unreliable AI going on. We also learned pretty early on, we're like hanging out with the trio, with the Angels, because they're getting ready to put on their own show.
Their debut live performance on Gilded Carrot Day.
Which was poor planning on their part. Is like, if this is your debut performance, why would you compete with the biggest musical event of the year that Astro Yao presented at last year, and it may be Cersei this year? And you're like, let's do it our own. I get it. It was a cool confluence, and it makes the narrative better. But come on, girls, you can do better than that.
Yeah.
Do you like
especially since it's like a public concert? You know, it's one thing if it's like, oh, there's a big concert going on over here, but tickets are limited, so you know, and there'll always be people who like, I don't want to go to the big show, I'll go to something small. But it was not good planning, and it was reflected by the amount of sprites they put in the
12 people in the room clapping. But that's our introduction to this trio as a whole. I mean, we've seen them a little bit with other stuff, but like this is us seeing them, how they interact, and as annoying as it sometimes I feel like Sanya's whining can be, I did really like seeing them all interact with each other. They have a good dynamic.
I ended up liking the characters as a whole. Like, I feel like they did a good job making them fun and feel like a group of like young kids going for their dream. Like,
Yeah.
They're confident and wild, but also self-conscious. And so like they do a good job of like, but so the main character for this story is Arya.
Yeah.
And whenever she gets in doubtful or is unsure what to do, she asks an AI who sounds suspiciously like Fairy.
She talks to her wishing sprite, which sounds really like Fairy. And I was with you. I was like in my notes going like, all right, so Yokai is impersonating Fairy as wishing sprite. So does that mean Yokai has also been impersonating Fairy with us? And that would be why there's weirdness going on. I really liked this like reflection of Arya being a young person trying to like be a leader and confident and do things. And the moment she has any kind of question, she just goes and asks an AI assistant.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of people who do who are also like, I don't know what to do for dinner. Help, AI, please tell me.
It does make more sense in a world where she is a intelligent, like a fully intelligent AI. So it's more of like asking a friend than it is asking our level of AI.
Yeah, folks.
But yeah, it is funny. Of like, she's like, I cannot make a decision without running it past an AI.
Help, please, help. So yeah, she's got this AI telling her to do things, and then all of this, like, there's two things kind of happening at the same time that at first are separate. Because we're like, yeah, we'll help you out, Angels. Like, we're back on 6th Street. You guys are great. Also, PubSec needs us to go into into a hollow and deal with this rogue AI situation, and they've delivered unto us a problem child.
I do love it because like Jane's like, they're like, she's like, here you go, good luck dealing with this one, and she shows up and she's just the most manic, wacky. I also love, both her and Jane have taken over our bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jane took over the bedroom, or like fell asleep in our bedroom with our permission. Sissia just was like, I'll be taking your bedroom.
Sissia stole permission to come sleep in the bedroom. And then she ends up like, there's one point where she's like clattering around and making noise, and they never resolve it. So either that was just like a character development piece, or she stole something.
Yeah, like, she either stole something, or it was supposed to be literally she's just like rifling through their room,
just tearing it up. We'll talk Sissia more when she comes out proper, but like, and I think we talked about it last episode. But I really like how they've leaned into the character. Like she's got like this cool rib cage pattern on her outfit, and she's got her best friend Snake, and she's also an egg fiend. I don't know if you caught that like she really likes to eat eggs.
Yeah, like all good snakes.
Her preference, like hard-boiled eggs, is like a food. So like that snaky thing.
Joanna, don't eat the eggs, Joanna. That's a deep cut reference.
That's a deep cut, Brian. I was going to talk about David Attenborough, who likes to go off on tangents during nature shows, complaining about egg stealers as the lowest of the low in the animal kingdom. Like, nothing's worse than a creature that steals eggs, according to David Attenborough. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, yeah, Sissia gets it.
And we get a hint. We also get a hint of a super cool and confident and scary to Sissia other
he
PubSec leader.
Jane a little bit too. Like, like he's got a great voice.
Yeah, God, I'm.
Oh man,
can't wait for him to turn evil and be killed too.
To not be playable.
To dash everyone's hope of ever getting a cool male character besides Banyue, who's the most complex character to play.
Yes. no one got, because he came out right before Void Hunter.
Speaking of playing, so turns out that the Angels need money, so they picked up a commission, and Sissy is the one who commissioned it. And I love how she was like,
they don't know that.
They don't, and I love when the meeting occurs, and she's like, Proxy, I got you some really good, well-established people, and then the Angels show up, and they're like, hey, Proxy, and Sissy's like, wait, you know them?
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. wait. And the whole time she's like, no, like I went through the proper channels and everything. And then like the angels are like, nah, this kind of popped up on internet and we took it because my wishing sprite suggested it. Yeah. And like, what's up? So clearly Sissy is just like playing Calvin ball with this whole thing. Like she has no idea what she's doing. We also got the great bit where she's like, you're going to have to drive because I can't drive us. I do have a pilot license. I know how to pilot an airship, but I don't have an actual license. You have to drive me. Like, Sissy.
Where are your priorities?
What is happening?
So we go into the Lemnian Hollow again. And I will say, they do a good job of marketing, playing the even just the two idols and having them interact with each other just playing. Like when Arya does her butt stomp and Suna is there like butt stomping too. And then when Arya or Suna takes her photo and Arya's there, I was like, dang. Yeah. They put I was like, for a second there, I was like, kind of want to get it because that's a really cool team up mechanic. That's
I hope that comes back again. They've done a good job with it because I really like when it happens, but I also don't need it. You know what I mean? Like it's not making me go like, well, now I have to roll for all three characters. And I'm like, this is really cool, and I'm glad. It shows up.
I was like, that was neat, and it definitely like pushed the needle. But I'm like, I'm going for Sissia, and I'm still recovering from. I'm still recovering from getting M2 Sandby.
Yeah, our Sandby exploits kind of drained both of our accounts in a terrible way. I also really like that. One, like if you stop moving, they start idle dancing together, which is really cute.
I did stop, and I liked the idle dancing.
The music. The other thing is like the banter between the two of them when they were running around in the hollow was really fun. Like at one point you open a chest and one of them goes in like the most sincere way possible. She's like, we're suddenly less poor. Or when Suna asks like, what's miasma? And Arya goes, miasma is when you can't breathe very well. That's golden.
No, I really I enjoyed running around playing them. Yes. And also, now that I think about like that's the only combat in this whole story besides
until we get to the boss. Yeah. There's a lot of fighting.
They cut out a lot of the random fighting, which makes sense too, because it's harder to explain why this idol group who's practicing for a concert is fighting all the time.
Yeah. When you're playing as like when you're doing Trigger's story, it makes sense that there's a lot of fighting. She's a soldier. Obel Squad's gonna be fighting, whereas they're a band. Like they're in school and they're in band.
They're just doing this because they need money.
Yes.
Which I like the reoccurring bit of like Nangong is clearly super rich.
She's loaded.
And keeps pretending like she just magically gets these scratch offs.
She wins lotteries. And like none of them are like, well, no, you have to share with us. And she's like, y'all don't understand. And like it's so obvious.
Was it in the Redo Chronicles with the band where they're like, oh, we're not going to be able to get to the Gilded Carrot or to the concert venue in time.
Yeah.
And then Nangong's like, oh, what a coincidence. I ran into someone who said they'd loan us a helicopter.
Here's my helicopter I found. Someone's letting us borrow a helicopter.
Yeah, I really enjoy like Nangong just...
We're gonna
like you said, Sana just constantly like, stop rubbing it in that you're so lucky.
Not fair.
And she's like, I've only ever shared the money with you.
Yeah, you know, like we're building up to an arc where it's like Nangong Yu and Lucy and Alice, and it's just like three unbelievably loaded people trying to not be noticed how much money they're actually throwing at things. Or like throwing this crazy extravagant event because they can combine like buy half of New Era or something.
I'll be interested to see. My personal guess is that by the end of chapter 3, we will somehow entice the heirs of almost every Tops organization.
Yeah.
Because Vlad was for a short time
That
the
was
leader
Tops.
of a Tops
Yeah.
organization.
I think there'll be like one that we can't get under our thumb, and that's
There's
got to
still be
one
one that's evil.
We gotta
then
have
also,
some antagonism.
We'll be best friends with Krampus.
Yes, absolutely. So the inciting event here is at the end of this fighting sequence, they encounter some robots that look like Arya when she's not putting up her illusion of being a normal looking person.
Yeah.
Like,
and
we
Arya,
get these fighting robots, tactical constructs.
Freaks out.
Yep. Understandably, I get it. Like, she's not happy about it. We learned that there's this tactical construct that was built, like mass produced, that's adept at archery and adept at deception. And that's the two things they do.
And
shoot
they
arrows
in the fall of Eridu.
Yes. And so we come in, and a couple of those have activated again. We deal with it. And like this part, everyone's like, cool, we fix it. All good. Commission complete. Report success. And I think even Bella's like, are you sure? Like, that was kind of easy.
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Cool. I guess we'll report it. This was fine.
And so this is where Arya starts having her major crisis, because she wants to leave the Angels now because everyone else thinks it's fine, but in her mind it's like, hey, if they could go rogue and try to kill people, I could go rogue at any point. I need to leave before I hurt the people I care about the most.
Yes, which is all understandable.
And so they're like, there's only one person who can say it's okay that sometimes you murder people as long as you're cool now. And that's Banyue.
That's Banyue. If anybody knows about having a problematic past, it's Banyue.
But I did like how they introduce it, because they go back to Swabian Temple, and Banyue is immediately like, hey, Arya, you know, because he was like, oh,
I know
there's
what
some
you are.
soup. And they're like, she doesn't need soup. And he was like, why would she eat soup? She needs an energy core. She's clearly a construct. And they're like, how'd you see through? And he's like, because I'm the man.
He's like, I'm Banyue. Like, what else do you want? Speaking of, Brian, I don't think you got Banyue, right?
No.
I did one of his, just a complete tangent. I did one of his walking around social events yesterday. And it's when you go to like a store and he gets very distracted because somebody's playing with marbles. And he's like, I really want a marble, because he's a cat. He's a lion, right?
Yeah.
And then like halfway through that sequence, a mouse runs past and it scares the bananas out of Banyue. And he's like, we gotta go now. And Bella's like, why? And I liked them being like, don't forget, he is still like stylized after a lion, and he liked to play with little balls. And
I do enjoy how much the like animal that they are connected with affects them as a personality.
It's even when they're like a construct, when they're like,
yeah,
like I understand Sissia eating eggs and being kind of sneaky. She's snake, but Banyue is robot styled after stone lion from in front of a temple.
Yeah,
there's still some lion in there.
He's still cat.
Like, it's still happening. Still cat.
So I'm sure you wrote down probably what he said. I just wrote down Banyue dropping bars again.
Yeah, I didn't quote him, but Banyue did a really good job of being like, your free will is what matters. Like, you choose what you do, but you also don't hurt people. Like, some of the stuff he says doesn't help her, because it helps reinforce, like, yeah, maybe she should leave, because these things can happen. But Banyue is nothing but honest, and so he does a really good job. And he comes back again later. I liked him being like this source of like comfort and discussion.
Yeah.
Is this when we meet Vesper? Because I need to talk about Vesper.
I think just after, because I have the part where Arya asks Wishing Sprite once again what she should do, and then this is when I realized
it's flipped. Yes.
Yeah, because this is when it is Yokai, like clearly Yokai's voice, and she's even like, oh, I think, and I kind of like it because she was like, oh, Wishing Sprite sounds different. She was like, oh, that's because like there's something wrong with me. That's why like wishing sprite sounds more mean, is because wishing sprite's upset. Like internalizing everything.
Yes. And I liked, like, yes, like very clearly it was different for us. We picked up on it immediately. We should have been like, oh, I've heard this voice before. I like how much they did with Arya's robot form's eyes.
Yeah.
Because the eyes are like super expressive. Like when she's sad, like there's little teardrop animations coming through the top.
Yeah, and her like embarrassed is like it's squinting and
like when she's thinking or like trying to process, like you see the codes like flashing on her eyes. They did such a good job with that. It's almost a bummer she's like not robot form most of the time.
You can choose to run around as her robot form when you get her. But they've done that before too, because we've mentioned it with like Trigger, the different lights on her visor,
her embarrassed pink triangle.
But yes. So then this is when we start going around trying to encourage the angel. So this is where we go and meet Vesper for the first time.
Okay, Brian, do you know how some people got really obsessed with Pompey and then he was a bad guy and no one could play him?
Yeah.
And we were like, sucks to suck, bro. And then do you remember how people got really excited about Sarah in Isolde?
Yeah.
And they're like, these are really cool. And then they became a boss and then we had to kill them so they don't get to become playable. And we were like, sucks to suck, bro. I'm obsessed with Vesper.
I will say, at least with Vesper, there is a chance she becomes playable later. Because her boss mode is a purely mental construct.
Yeah, it's a Matrix thing. Brian, I have an entire paragraph in my notes describing how much I love the aesthetic of Vesper.
Oh my. I did like it.
She's amazing.
The part I wrote down is, why does a robot have jiggle physics?
She's got some jiggle physics that's necessary. It's part of the forbidden fruit test. Is if you can't jiggle, those are the forbidden fruit. It all makes sense now. She's like, oh my. Okay, listen. She's got this whole bug aesthetic for her, right? With like really thin waist and like the abdomen shape with like the stuff coming off of it. She's very much styled like a cricket. She's got antenna coming down, but like the patterns on her antenna are a bass clef because she's a bass player. Her weapon when you fight her is a giant electric bass guitar, right?
Is it a giant? I thought it was a spear.
It is. It's a big electric bass guitar. Look at the Open Up Deadly Assault today and look at the picture of her. Oh. She's got a big bass guitar. Her music has this amazing like drop down like bass run to it.
Dubstep, that's the word you're looking for.
It's dubstep.
Whoop.
Her throat is a DAW volume gauge, so it's like the gauge for like measuring volume and like Audacity or like FL Studio or something. She's owned by Top, so she has like the little barcode on her side, but like the patterning on her legs is like the really cool scroll work cutouts that you see in cellos or violins. And then like there's a musical staff pattern on her collar that like gives movement, but it's also in a bass clef. Brian, I love this character so much.
Yeah, that's two different takes. I looked at her, I'm like, she looks neat.
She looks so well. The problem is in most of high school and college, I played bass, like, and I still dabble with bass, and so like that already resonated. Plus, she's a bug, and I love bug things.
Oh.
I'm so hopeful that Vesper comes back as a playable character because this is the first time I've seen an NPC and genuinely been like, this is my favorite part of the game right now.
Yeah.
Like full stop. Man, she looks mean. Like she looks angry all the time too, but she's also like really kind to Arya when she's able to be kind to Arya, and she's like dealing with her own stuff, and she's complicated.
Which yeah,
and I love her.
And I did like her like very clearly like chafing under, like even though her handler, I forget what their name was, like Autan or something.
Yeah, but
she was like, the handler was being nice to her, but the handler was like, we have to go. They've already set your schedule. And she was like, I'll be there. Yeah. I'm a backup singer. I don't care. Like no one cares that I'm going to be there. It's not important.
she's lost the illusion that this is something that is like special anymore for her. And like I liked the twist of like the handler at first. So I'm like, why is she being mean to her handler? Her handler seems fine. And then you find out what Topps is doing with her, and you're like, oh nope, never mind. I'm on her side, and her handler's a problem. Like unnecessary evil, but isn't evil.
It's not even really the handler's fault. Like the handler has a job. Yeah. And she tries to treat Vesper as well as she can, but as we've seen in Topps, like no one gets treated with respect unless you're the Topps baby.
Exactly. And even then, like you have to be, you are beholden to the mighty dollar.
But I did like it because later on, like when she's mean to the handler, and I think Belle says something, and the handler's like, "No, I get it." And so, like, even she was like, "I'd be upset too if I was enslaved by a corporation."
If I was being used, I did write down, like, I thought it was interesting, like Zenless Mihoyo did the thing that they sometimes do, where I had fought Vesper as a boss long before meeting her in the story because I'd done my weekly stuff. And so I'd fought Vesper. And so I was like writing notes for myself going like, she seems super sincere and nice. Why is she going to be who we fight? Like, what's going to happen? So it was a fun kind of puzzle figuring out how Vesper became the boss for this patch.
Yeah.
Based on like how she was introduced as not just like flat out, I'm clearly the bad guy, I'm going to fight you, and then I'll never be relevant again character. So I can't talk about Vesper. Yep.
I need to run and grab some water. I was like, that seemed like a good pause for me to interrupt the flow.
Go for it.
That's our cut sound.
Hey everybody, Brian's gone to go get some water. While he's gone, I'll tell you we some little updates, and I might mention again in the episode. We are still working on getting some new art for our logo and everything. We're also, if you are not in the Discord, we've been collecting Ask Me Anything questions, AMA questions, that we could do just like as a special episode, because people weirdly enough, want to know a little bit about me and Brian. So we are working on that. That'll be coming out. I don't have a timeline for when that's going to come out, but that's going to come out eventually. But we are still taking questions. So if there's questions that you're like, I want to know what these guys think about X, Y, or Z, feel free to either email them, or there's a channel in our Discord you can submit questions to. We won't answer all of them probably. If we get enough, we'll do 2 of these things. And also, like, if there's a question we're just like not sure we want to answer, we won't touch it. But feel free to leave us questions. They can be about Zenless Zone Zero, or they can be about, I mean, probably us or whatever. Ryan and I will talk about just about anything. Hey, Brian.
Are you going to leave that in, or are you going to like clip it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll either leave it in there or I'll clip it and move it somewhere else. But I figured it was a good chance to just.
That's why I came back and I'm like, why is he talking? I was giving him that hint so that way he could like clearly clip it.
No, you're good.
Anyway, so yeah, I agree. I think Vesper's probably the worst character model they've ever had.
I can't with you. This podcast is over. Don't ask us anything. So Vesper gets some shoes. Cool. We then kind of go back to this like low stakes world building piece of like just trying to get tickets out there.
Yes.
And I loved the addition of our favorite biker gang showing up.
Yeah, we go to the Reverb Arena, and there's just Bernice and Caesar.
Yep.
And I just love immediately Bernice and Caesar are all in.
They've adopted this trio, especially Suna.
They're like,
we're here for you.
Caesar being like super tough leader of a biker gang who loves cute things.
Yes. Is that
because she's immediately all in. She's like, these girls are adorable. I will ride and die. And Bernice is like,
so cute.
Let's do it.
Bernice rubs her two brain cells together, and I was like, yeah, I can help with this. This is great.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I love seeing them. The whole sequence when they're like, let's have Suna just sing solo real quick and get some people's attention, and sell tickets. And like the little animated short of like Caesar and Bernice and Nanyang like a non-gong, like just making a stage for her real quick and shoving people out of the way. It was just so charming.
Yeah, I really liked them throwing in just these short little animated parts. It
really well animated too. Like,
and this is also where it goes back to like earlier on, where you did have the kind of cartoony, like you have like these big stakes, but also you have these little cartoony, fun moments of just silliness.
Mm-hmm. And that felt very in place. It felt nice to be able to fit that around these characters.
Yeah.
Suna sings. People are into it. Arya's still trying to quit the band.
Yep. I think that
Fine.
At this point they had managed to convince her that maybe quitting the band right before their debut
maybe that's not
would
a good time.
only hurt them. But then again, also, if you debuted with a 3-person act and immediately you're like, well, she's gone. They're like,
yeah,
what?
That whole plot line made sense, but it felt kind of like secondary. You know what I mean?
It reminds me a lot of like
quit.
The anime plot points of like, it's kind of forced because it doesn't really make sense in either way, but you need some sort of tension.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. I will ride with it, but I was just like, whenever she's like, I gotta quit, and I'm like, no, you don't. There's other things going on.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are practicing, and now also there's a bunch of garbled messages coming in via text, and something bad is happening.
Yeah.
And I liked those garbled messages coming through because you could read in between the nonsense, like what was being messaged to Belle. Because like in amongst all of the digital chaff, it said in-store, studio, house in peril, return now.
Yeah.
And like those are the messages like you're filtering through because yokai is here.
Yeah. But I did like it because like they drop you at the like end of 6th Street, and so you're walking back and like every single person is like, why is the internet dead?
Like, what's going on? Even like Tin Master's like, I am okay, but my customers aren't. Like, uh-oh, this is bad.
Yeah, you're like, oh, something major is happening. And yeah, yokai has taken over HDD, which is not good.
He's consigned Fairy to a tablet. Yeah, yokai's a problem. Fairy's stuck in a tablet. His like specialty is like breaking and entering, though, essentially. Like,
yeah, he does.
That's what he does.
Smash and grabs.
Yeah. Whereas our Fairy's about like just data processing and like mapping and stuff.
I do like that. It seems like each one of these AIs is going to have a specialty, which also makes sense why you would have 7 AIs.
6 of them, 5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. However, I forget exactly how many.
6 or 7.
Each of one is specialized. And it's also a good like counterpoint. So that way, if something like this happened where one of your AIs got taken, it's like a RPG where like you have different elements that counter each other. So like Fairy's really good at data processing. She can't immediately respond to yokai who is good at just spiking in, causing mayhem, and then leaving before you're able to like recognize. But he can't hang out in one spot because he's not designed for like long-term missions.
Yep, he needs to bounce around. It's really cool how they're exploring the AIs again. Yokai starts listing off his like trophy list of the constructs that he's claimed.
Yeah,
or he has like a list that he keeps, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I do also enjoy like, and I mean, it makes sense in the where they're like he mentions Lock Spring, and they're like, "You were in Lock Spring?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, clearly that was his voice." But
who
also,
else would it be?
You know, it's hard to remember a specific voice when you thought the world was ending and your friend was dying, so you were focused on something else other than one voice coming out of a crazed Bangbu.
Exactly. So he does the villain thing. Like, I do also like that, like, yokai is characterized as like a mischievous like 16-year-old. You know, like he's still like really excited about leveraging what he can do and being a problem and being a scam. So he tells you like, I'm gonna mess with the special program, like I'm gonna mess with the concert, and you can't stop me.
Yeah,
suckers. Like, Um, yeah. So like I thought he sets that up. He tells us what's going on. We find out like pretty soon here that my notes. I was going like, well, okay, why was Fairy the wishing sprite beforehand?
Yeah,
like if now we know Yokai is the wishing sprite, what was she doing?
Yeah.
And then we go back. I think we go back to 404, and that's when.
Yeah, after Yokai leaves, they're like, "Well, that's a problem." Anyway, nothing we can do about it right now. So let's
back
continue
to my
the concert.
idol group.
But yeah, so we go to watch a practice, and Jane shows up.
Yes, Jane shows up, and I'm like, I was probably the same way you were going. Like, why is she here? Oh, I'm glad she's here.
Yeah, and then Vesper's there because she's like, oh, I'm going to be working on Gilded Carrot Day, but I'll come watch you practice. And Jane is immediately like, I hate her.
Yeah,
I want to punch her in the face.
Raised.
And I do like it. You're like, everyone's like, Jane, why do you dislike Vesper? You've never even met her. She's like, I don't need to have met her.
Yeah, I don't even need. I have a preternatural understanding that right now she's a problem. And listen, Jane, I have to say, back off. Vesper's perfect.
I know she is, and she's done nothing wrong.
She can do nothing wrong. Because this is when we see what Yokai is capable of when he takes over Arya and makes her fight.
Yeah, I like how it's presented as like he's not able to just do it to any construct.
Yeah.
She talks to Wishing Sprite again, and Wishing Sprite is basically like, you should just give up. There's nothing you can do. And so basically she is retreating, and so he's able to use that to take over her logic core. And he possesses Arya.
It's so much more interesting than like flipping a switch and like, now I'm in control. Like it's this like really cool, like insipid poison that he's able to like slip into robots or machines.
He's not just able to brute force. He has to actually mess with people, get inside their minds, get them to lower their guard. Which also I think is...
He's Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah, and it's also important to set up for later. Because if every AI construct could just be brute force hacked, that really... I mean, and like that's what he's trying to set up, but like I like that they're not just like, oh, he's got a cheat I win button.
Yeah,
he has to work. There's a reason. There's a reason all of them didn't go insane at once.
And there's a reason he hasn't taken over Bon Yue yet. Because Bon Yue is the most self-actualized construct in New Eridu, and there's no way Yokai's getting
now
in.
That he has dealt with his one lingering guilt. Yeah, and he's like, that man is a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way Yokai's getting in there, and then Shingyu would be like, whatever. Like, okay.
Chingyu's like, that's not logical.
That doesn't make sense.
I just want to hang out and tease you on.
I liked the fight with Arya. I really liked it, like set it up organically for Jane to be there, and then like Jane's like, all right, let's go. I'm in. Tag me in. Like, let's do it. And so we get this really cool fight. And then I really liked after the fight, like we get this interaction. Arya kind of comes back to her senses a little bit. And Jane's like, y'all, that was fine. I guess she's your friend. She's got to come with me.
Well, I do also like that they mentioned, like, it wasn't just, they were like, hey, every other time we've had one of these AIs go rogue, once they've come out of their state, they return to normal. Mm-hmm. So we are not locking her away, but, she has to take the forbidden fruit test again. Like, she has to pass. They want her to pass that again.
And then like the kids trying to argue with Jane. The whole time I'm like watching it with this like dissonance of being like, on one hand, this is a story about these three kids, so they of course need to fight to keep Arya around. On the other hand, I'm like, don't argue with Jane Doe. Like, she's got better things to do than listen to you kids do this.
It's also one of these points of like, I get you want to save your friend. Your friend is a military construct who just went rogue. This isn't
like, I get that there's power of love.
Yeah, this isn't a random AI construct that, like, worst case is just strong. This is someone literally designed to kill people, and so if they go crazy,
with a silent weapon and also with disguises, like, why would we? And she lets it do it, but like,
She's like, you have until tomorrow morning to fix her.
Fascinating. Exactly.
And then I just wrote down, friendship is magic.
Friendship is magic. It fixes everything. I did like this whole like idea when they're trying to get Arya back that like you can't turn off your listening. Like you're always like, you can stop talking by closing your mouth, right?
Yeah.
You can pinch, but you can't stop listening, especially if you're unconscious. And so like that ties really close into like the whole like themes around music, and then like how Vesper starts to turn because she's also can't stop like listening and taking in this information. And then there's a really the nice like parallel there of like you have a robot made for war that wants to be a performer. It's literally her delusion of like trying to be a thing that she wasn't designed to be.
Yeah. And I think this is where we find out that the reason that Fairy and Arya have a connection and why Fairy was pretending to be, they don't fully announce it yet, but like,
yes,
obviously Wishing Sprite comes back and was like, hey, you don't have to, like, you are your own person. You're free of your past.
Yes.
Like
it gives her a directive of like, you have to keep going forward
Yeah.
with who you are now. And then she gives Vesper a big hug, and I wrote in my notes like, oh, there goes Yokai.
Yeah.
Like that's all it took.
They did have that moment of, which I think technically might happen later, because they go back, they fix her overnight by like expressing their feelings, and Wishing Sprite was able to get back to her and like, hey, you got to go live your life now.
Yeah.
And then we meet Sissia's boss.
Oh man, Severian lol.
Severian's
Lol. Great. It's a cool name.
He is. I like the introduction of like very strong, confident, like
scary,
capable, and then immediately he runs into, and he talks to us, and he's like, "Yeah, like we're good. We've cleared it. Like you can keep Arya. She doesn't have to pass the forbidden fruit test." And then
here's a mystery USB. You might need this.
Yeah.
Don't even trip.
He was like, hey, I'll make you a deal / a threat. Like, if you can't fix this and something goes wrong, we're taking Fairy. Because right now we have hyper-intelligent AI that is causing issues. And the only one we really know about is yours.
And I'm going to need that.
And I also like the fact that they were like, we know about Fairy because, or like in 1.x where they were like hiding Fairy, and they're like, no, PubSec's not stupid. Like they're like, we pulled up the energy charts, and your one house is using more energy than the entire city block.
If we did a heat map, yours is red hot. And I think you're about to say like, we see him do all this cool stuff, and then we see him interact with his brother.
Yeah.
With Seth shows back up, and I wrote that their relationship is surprisingly realistic.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
it's
it.
Messy.
Seth has always felt like he's living in his brother's shadow, and he takes it as Severian thinks he's better than Seth in every way.
Yeah.
And really, he's just like, I'm a bigger brother. I've been trying to set an example, and I feel awkward because I don't want to be like... I know Seth doesn't like being at home when I'm at home because the parents always put that pressure of like, why can't you be like your brother?
Yeah.
And so he was trying to set up a casual, coincidental meeting so that way they could spend the holiday together. And Seth is just immediately like, oh, typical this. And he's like...
It's got a lot of like Sasuke and Itachi energy from Naruto, but like if Sasuke didn't lose his mind and they could communicate even just a little bit, you know, like it's really fun.
It's toned down to a reasonable level of like, they're both kind of too stubborn to just sit and talk it out.
Yeah.
But they're like, we're still family. Like,
you're still my brother.
He's like, mostly I just don't want to be at home. Like, I want to be at home with you because I still like you, but also I don't want to be at home because it always feels bad whenever your parents are like, "Oh, you're the leader of PubSec, Seth. How is it being a regular patrol officer?"
Yeah, how's it feel to be in this big old shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's interesting. They work through that. It's Waffles who figures out that yokai is really after Vesper, or that's what they think. Like that's what's gonna happen to Carrot Day is like, oh, he's taking over Vesper. Uh-oh. And then we get to see some of yokai trying to like needle his way into Vesper and like take control.
I liked it too because like it was the same way of like Vesper was a willing participant to an extent, because this is where she like was like, yeah, I've passed my forbidden fruit test, but Topps has hidden the results of the test, so I am not considered a fully like she is literally enslaved. And I was like, oh, this introduces an interesting moral dilemma of like a flesh and blood being is immediately given full rights. The AI have to earn their rights.
Yep.
But there's like, because she's owned by Topps, as long as they hide the fact that she's passed the forbidden fruit test, they can make sure she never takes another test.
Yeah, there's people are able to take control of someone else's citizenship, and so when that happens, are they actually equal citizens or not? Because like, yeah, it's a real. I'm hopeful that they explore it more. It's a delicate subject. I'm hopeful that they explore it more, moving forward, especially with yokai kind of one of his bread and butters being that he just like messes with people and can essentially remove their citizenship through his manipulation.
But yeah, I did like it because she's on board, and she was like, no, we need to do something to show like we need to change things. I'm bitter and I'm mad and I just want to lash out at the world. And he was like, yeah, let's kill people. And she was like, well, I don't know if we need to kill people. And he was like, too late. You opened the door enough. And then it's like emotional hijacking complete. And you're like, all right, cool. They leave it open so that way she's not.
No, Vesper's redeemable. She's redeemable. And it's also like she got done doing the thing and I was like, nah, yeah, get him, Vesper. I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to stop you. Let's burn him down. They do a really good job of like showing what yokai does and like showing that switch, but also keeping Vesper available as an interesting character to play with later, whether she's playable or not.
Yeah,
because she's interesting. And we confront her, and I've already talked about how much I like this boss fight.
Yeah, I liked how it led up to it.
Yes,
because we go and because I had fought the boss before the story. And we're in Phylum Heights. I'm like, how are we getting to this stage?
So the same thing. I was like, are we going to fight this? I'm wondering, are we going to fight them on the televised event? Like, is everyone going to watch us?
Yeah, I was like, Vesper? Is this going to be like another Astra Yao thing where like she's in the middle of the concert and goes crazy? Yeah. And then I like what happens because I think it is Winky that calls and he was like, hey, we figured it out. Vesper, like, Fairy watched the CCTV. Vesper's the one who's going to do something crazy. There's going to be a fight. And then Vesper walks over and she was like, I heard you. So I guess we're going to do this now.
Yeah, let's throw hands.
And then Arya's like, well, let's not hurt anyone. And so Vesper's like, what if we had a dance battle in our minds?
Yeah,
which is essentially what the boss battle is a dance off.
It's so cool. I really liked that setup. It gave them the freedom to have a really like insane like set piece for that fight, where you have Vesper doing Vesper things, but also like giant illusion Vesper in the background.
Like she's got this war form, and there's this big illusion, and because there's this crowd, and like it's like really exciting, and it happens. Yeah. Obviously, we win because
with the music. Because we have to. I do like the fight. I want to come back to the fight after we get done with the story because I want to talk about that fight more. But we beat Vesper. She goes, all right, I'm not going to do it. You guys can take me in. I get it. Here's the thing.
I do like it. Yeah. She gets beaten at basically like that. Once again, like, they do their little rampage thing. Hers was just mental. And then yokai like lost his influence, and she was like, yeah, this is what I was planning. This is how we were going to do it. I was going to go insane, and I was going to like kill people at the concert. She's
So,
like, I will turn myself over. And I wrote down just return of the butt.
Yep.
Because Zuyuan came back. And I like it because Zuyuan's like, look,
you got your character back.
She's like, I get you. Like, Topps is like, hey, we want to take our construct in. And Zuyuan's like, no, she was planning on killing people. This is a PubSec thing. And then she gets a call, and PubSec is like, hand it over to Topps. And she's like, all right.
Okay. All right.
So
well, I did think here's my crackpot theory, is that Vesper saw an opportunity to get out from underneath Topps's thumb, because now she's broken goods, right? She's been compromised by yokai. She's been brought into custody, so she can't tour and she can't put on performances. So like this might be her opportunity to get free of Topps, because she's not useful to them anymore. And they're so like greedy.
Yeah. And
so I'm hopeful.
So Xiao Xiao shows up, and she's the one who like says Topps wants her. And so I was like, original Xiao Xiao, I'm like, she's covering for Topps. This one, as our new best friend ever, she probably is going to use this as proof that they were like violating her rights, and use it to like, because she's made it very clear, like Krampus, their job is to make sure no one Topps organization goes so loony cartoon villain that it brings down the whole structure. And one way that's going to bring down your structure is when your company is actively enslaving people.
Yes. And especially like when their other new addition to Krampus is Banyue. is like someone who was controlled at some point and is now exercising his free will. Like, I want to know what Banyue's response is if he were to learn how Topps was using Vesper. Yeah. Like, that feels like it would be very important to him in a way that would be hard to ignore.
And then
and then you can go on an archive of our own, and you can read my 38-page fanfic between Vesper and Banyue.
So after Vesper gets handed over to Topps, and then Xiao was like, hey, go stand over here and see what you hear. And then immediately Xiao is talking to someone else I figured you like. Bird Girl.
Premia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote her name
I looked
down,
at her,
man.
I was like, she's Bird Girl.
Yeah.
Eric likes
she's Bird Girl. I love Bird Girl a lot. Bird Girl is scurry. Bird Girl is like there to assassinate. Like, she's the executioner.
I did like it because, like, clearly being friends with us has compromised Xiao to an extent. Yeah. Because Promea's like, why'd you tell your friend to stand there and overhear us? And Xiao's like, run! The fact that you gotta go now. Yeah, because I do like it. Promea's just like, she was like, I was here to handle the situation.
Yep.
And
I'm here to do my job. So we'll break her. We'll give her the Zhao treatment.
Yeah.
No, I really like Prometheus. We've reached the part of the story now that you and I were very excited about before version 2.6 came out, which is that they are introducing characters that we know are going to be important for version 3.0.
Yes.
And version 3 on. So we got Promea shown. We got her shown to us.
So I'm assuming we know she's coming. This is the girl that they've referenced before, where like when Zhao was still like the meat-eating bunny, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not even the executioner for Krampus."
Yeah,
this is clearly like this is the executioner. She was like, "Once you've been judged."
She's the angel of death, like here too, and she was like fully prepared to do that in a crowded city, and probably would have been fine. Like. That is the vibe I was getting from her. She's like, no, this is what I do.
Yeah, she was like, she was like, I am not concerned. And I'll be interested to see if it's like, I'm not concerned with collateral. Because at the point that they've told me I have to do it, it's imperative that
someone else will handle
whoever the target needs to die, no matter the reason. Or she's very competent and like sets up elaborate kills. So like, basically like Hitman or Assassin's Creed if you play it the way you're supposed to, where you're actually sneaky instead of Assassin's Creed where you just run in and you're like, they gave me a sword. I'm just going to stab my way through this castle.
The way I play versus the way my wife plays. which is like mine takes about 18 times longer, but it's more fun to me. She finishes the game much quicker because if you just run in and kill everybody, they resolve themselves. Like, it's fine. Yes. So we meet Premia. We also find out like wrapping up the Angels arc or some of their arc, they have the opportunity to back up Cersei and sing in the big ceremony. And I actually really appreciated the narrative move to have them turn that down. Right? Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they were going to do it or not. And I think it also, because we kind of skipped over it, but there's a side plot of the fact that Cecilia is secretly Cersei.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow Arya never, I'm assuming Arya never met her.
Yeah. I mean, she did, though. I think it was just like a matter of like, they kind of talk about it in some of the side discussions that like, if you don't suspect somebody is somebody else, it's very hard to notice that's happening until like you're keyed to it. Cause you just it's not on your periphery.
And I guess it's maybe, I'm not sure exactly if she changed her appearance enough or something but Cecilia was Cersei, who Arya did backup vocals for after Cersei had PTSD from the fall of Eridu and couldn't sing anymore.
So when you say backup vocals, you mean like she sang as the backup to her, not backing vocals for when Cersei was performing. Okay, no, you're good. So like that's all set up. I like this, like they had Cersei sing Suna's song for their performance. But the girls go back to 404 to put on their show for their little crew. To me, it felt like the Zenless developers, this is probably a reach, the Zenless developers acknowledging the general community desire for things to be a little bit smaller scale again. And so they set up for like this giant, tremendous, like world-shattering performance and said, no, we're going to keep it small and cozy and intimate instead. And had them go do their performance at 404 with the 14 people in the crowd. Unless it's a cutscene. If it's the cutscene image, it's full and it's awesome.
Which is fair because it's still a phone game. And if you have 100 sprites on your phone, some people's phone will explode.
Dude, it's gotten to the point now where 50% of the time when I launch the game, it will crash on load. And I have to relaunch it because the game is rendering so much. One, I need a new phone. But two, Genshin runs fine, y'all, and it's older and bigger. Come on, Zenless, tone it. Like, you can do this. Make it work on my phone.
But I also wrote down like about the concert. I'm like, it felt like a nice refresh before going into 3. Like they had they showed everyone.
You've got. I mean, I tried to write down everybody I could see in the pictures. Like, Vivian is there, because, of course, Vivian's there.
I did put in, I was like, Vivian didn't even need to be invited. She just knew where Belle would be.
Yeah. Well, there's also, after the concert, Wiggles is talking to Vivian and Yesheng Wang. And I'm like, that man's in trouble. Like, that's a dangerous place to be when either of these two realizes how obsessed the other person is. And we already know Trigger's somewhere watching from a distance anyways. Yeah. Vivian's there, Yesheng Wang's there, Bernice is there, Caesar's there. I love how uncomfortable Sissia is around Severian at any point. Like, she's in a complete meltdown of Severians nearby. Ellen's there. Jane's there. Seth's there. Like, it's a really great, like, reminding you of all these people and, like, making it feel like a return to 6th Street.
Yeah.
And the music's good. They've done a really good job with the actual music that the trio.
Yeah, I know people have been loving all of the music. Mm-hmm. There will be a live concert coming out shortly.
Yeah, it's on like the 22nd of March, I think. Yeah, in New York. One of our cool Discord people's going. I don't think anybody else is. I would love to go, but that's my sibling's birthday. Yeah. I
also enjoy the fact that like at the end of the concert, they're like, shout your delusions. And everyone's shouting like normal things. And then the one person's like, I want Nangong to step on me. And everyone's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Okay. Are you sure? Please stop. Yeah. That was fun. I wanted something to be like really, really uncomfortable. Like, I'm going to get back together with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna stop drinking water from the back of the toilet.
Ye Xing Wang and Vivian both declare their love, and they're like, "Well, boss battle."
Wine's like, I gotta leave. We gotta get out of here.
And that was the other part that felt like a nice wrapping up of the season 2. Is you have your Gilded Carrot Day messages from everyone. So everyone that you've interacted with during this season 2, and then also reintroducing you to everyone from season 1 who have basically been non-existent. So like,
we saw Bellabog finally.
Yeah, we see Bellabog where like the cunning hairs are still a thing.
Yep, everybody got to say hi. It was a really nice little tour. We also find out that it was in fact Fairy that was used during the fall of Eridu to deploy A-Hollow units, which is what Arya is.
And so she was their battle commander, and so she was kind of like, hey, it's like we're both soldiers. It's like a kind of like another Obel squad.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like Ambi, where it's like we were soldiers who saw really bad stuff and we want to move on. And it's difficult to move on when you have no idea how. Like both of them were created to fight war, and what do you do if that was your sole purpose and now there's no war?
Exactly. And then we also, last little teasers, that picture we got of Sunbringer during version 2.5 story.
Yeah.
Where she was holding the big flag. There were 2 other people. You couldn't see them very clearly, but you could see their general silhouettes. Those 2 people show up in another cutscene at the end of 2.6.
Yes, they are
Valina and Norma.
Yeah, and they are at the chamber where the creator came out, and they are collecting... I forget what they called it.
Something.
It wasn't Porcelumex, but it was like Porcelium or something close to it.
Yeah, it was like the core material for Porcelain.
Yeah. And they were like, if we've picked up enough of it, it'll prevent the creator from remanifesting.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool. There's still a story. They're still doing, like, the creator stuff's not completely over.
They have introduced, there will be, we don't know where they're going to be, like what side they're going to be on. We know we got Yokai as a villain. Like, they have now put the seeds for what season 3 is going to be.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing what we wanted them to do, which is like start setting up for what's coming. I think it also further confirms that whether as an opposition or as a playable character, and I would probably bet on being a playable character, Sunbringer's coming up next. I think it'd be hard to doubt at this point that, like, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, someone tell me later, but like Sunbringer is going to be a big part of version 3.0. Version 3.
I could see that.
Season 3? Yeah.
Whether she shows up in any real form or if it's just like her legacy that people are acting on. Which also could be like, because they still reference the fact that like her floating perfect village is still up there.
It's somewhere.
Somehow no one notices a giant floating city in the sky.
It's just up in the sky. It's always right in front of the sun, so you can't see it because you're squinting. There's one guy with pinhole cameras just going like,
honestly, that would make sense. She's Sunbringer, so she would hide in the sun.
Yeah. She would just protect herself. You know that picture with the holding the flag? Like, it looked like it was a picture from the past.
Yeah.
But the 2, Norma and Valina, looked the exact same age in that picture as they did when we saw them at the end of this season. So my theory is that that's actually, like, that picture was from the present day instead. And so
it could
she's
be
like
that.
Kicking around.
It is also one where I have to keep reminding myself that the fall of Eridu is only like 8 years ago.
It's not that long ago.
It's not so far away that the people who were like, because half of our parties, like half of our friends have fought in that fight and like are still around basically the same age. So
for sure.
It is, which I think works well, because obviously if the fall of Eridu happened like 100 years ago, like it would make this story a little weirder. Mm-hmm. And it also helps kind of why so much stuff is shaky, is because you're like, the apocalypse did only happen a decade ago. Like, there's still a lot
recent.
that, like, there's a big front of everything being fine and done with, but, like, there's a lot of things are barely holding on, and everyone's working to, like, we're still rebuilding.
Yes.
We're not also physically rebuilding, only because our city didn't get destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also why, like, everyone's traumas are so fresh.
Yeah.
Like, every character's got some new trauma. I enjoyed this one. I was glad that it didn't overstay its welcome. I was glad that, like, they were willing to let things take the time they needed to take, but also to, like, just kind of move through a nice, fun story with the Angels. I'm curious to see if when we get Nangong in 2.7, if that is, like, main story in 2.7, or if she is a return to VHS style character stories, and the narrative for 2.7 is more aligned with, like, Sissia or PubSec or, like, what's setting up. I think 2.7 is the last patch of the version of season 2.
I think so. Like, if it isn't, they haven't announced patch.
Yeah.
Like, because I know that they had previously said, like, the story is at least going to 2.7. And they haven't changed that. So I'm assuming it's not changing.
So in that case, yeah, I wonder if Nangong, if they find a way to wedge in, or if they let it be its own standalone thing for her, or if she even gets one. Because we kind of already got a lot of the Angels with everything in 2.6.
Yeah.
Ryan, we're running a little bit long, but I did want to talk briefly a little bit more about the Vesper fight, because that is currently the boss fight, one of the 3 boss fights in Deadly Assault. And there has been a lot of conversation from people around the presence of this boss fight in Deadly Assault. It's a fight, like, the way they've built it. She's susceptible to anomaly, but also she's really susceptible to having ether veils put up during the fight.
Yeah.
I assume because you did pull Suna.
Yeah.
That wasn't too challenging for you. Have you done it? I should ask.
Yes,
Okay.
She's been Deadly Assault before, or maybe she's in the Hollow Zero runs, or I fought the boss a couple times. She's in Hollow Zero
before. This is her first time in Deadly Assault, but she was in Hollow Zero as the end boss.
Figuring her out takes a little bit of, like, figuring out the timing of her attacks, the control skills.
The control skill.
Takes a little bit of time, but running the Yexing Wang, Suna, Zhao, the fact that they're just spamming Ether Veil helps.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are talking about, is, like, she's susceptible to anomaly unless you ignore that.
Yeah, I had that problem because the first time I did it, I'd put Dial-In on my Yadhari team to fight against Wandering Hunter.
Yeah.
And so I brought Yexing Wang, not Yexing Wang. I tried Vivian, Yanagi, Yuzuha as a team, because I was like, oh, weak to anomaly, weak to ether. Let's bring Vivian, and let's bring someone who can trigger Vivian's blooms really quickly.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't play it perfectly, but barely eked out 2 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, and I got all, like, 5,000 of the bonus points. I just wasn't doing the damage I wanted to do because that team doesn't have any ether veil.
Yeah.
And I learned, I ended up resetting both those fights and bringing Dial-In, Yexing Wang, Zhao. Because I don't have Suna, but Dial-In with her stun can essentially give you an extra version of, like, getting into Ether Veil super form.
Yeah.
And got 3 stars handily with it. But found out that, like, the anomaly weakness was not nearly as impactful as the weakness to Ether Veils was. And I think that's where a lot of frustrations coming in for people. The control skills are still a little bit difficult to get. I think I get them about half the time now.
Yeah, I'm doing better. It was the same with the Sarah creator fight, of realizing that you are changing how you play. It is no longer like keep fighting and you'll react. It was I'm stopping my damage while I react to because otherwise there's too much going on for me to respond to the control skills. And yeah, it's still like it's still touch and go whether or not I actually get her control skills right.
Yeah,
Because
especially hitting all
figuring
of
out
them.
the timing
Like,
of just windups, like you realize how much you got trained on looking for those markers.
a little flash. I've found now that I actually end up doing better with the second version than the first one when she's got like the big silhouette behind her. Something about that one, like I'm already in the groove for the fight, and that feels better. I keep having the same problem with the first round that I have when I play one of the Ghost of games, like Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotai, where like I get too excited to hit the button and I hit it early instead of waiting for the signal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'll like block it, no problem, and then miss one of the first round of swings. But then by the time I get to this, because I'm like, yeah, go. But the second round I do a lot better with. I did read online, and I think this kind of works. If at least for the first one, if you do the dodge when the purple flash shows up, the trigger the control skill. If you just hit character switch when the icon lights up, you'll do it perfect every time.
Okay.
So, like, if you're really bad at timing these things, stop looking at the field. Look just at the little button for switch character. And the moment that illuminates again, that's your chance to switch, and you can block all of them. That works for the second round too, but you have to pause a little bit before the final hit.
Okay.
So that is an option. The other thing that like I haven't heard people talking about much if you're doing this current round of Deadly Assault is, in addition to getting points from blocking her control skill perfectly, you also get points if you block the final attack and just the final attack of her attack sequences. So like when she jumps up in the air and dashes at you five times
the
in
one
a row.
that impairs her.
Yes. So if you can trigger those, like even if you miss some, that's way more forgiving. Just block the final one of those with the character switch and you'll get points.
Yeah.
I don't think she's as bad a boss as everybody online is saying, but I also think people online are very vocal, and it's a Goomba fallacy thing.
I think there's an element of the control scores change how you play the game. They are a new mechanic, and it's going to take a while to get to know them. And if you have to actually learn the boss fight, you can't just react to prompts, which can be difficult, especially when you're not fighting them routinely. Like if you fight them once every 3 weeks, you're not really going to learn the boss. Yeah. And yeah, it was like I think also that other point of like, they're like, hey, she's weak to anomaly. You're like, sorta.
Yeah. She's weak to anomaly, but that character's not in the game yet. She's really weak to, you better have Suna.
She's weak to Nangong.
Yeah, she's weak to Suna, Yesheng Wang, and like you could maybe bring, I haven't tried it, you could maybe bring Lucia to that fight because she also has an.
Oh no, Nangong is the stunner. She's weak to Arya,
Nangong's
who also
stunner.
still hasn't come out yet.
She's really weak to Arya, and that's because Arya wants to be there with Suna.
Yeah.
Suna. Like, it's fine. I really like it. The music, you guys, y'all, if you haven't done it, just look up like the OST for that fight on YouTube or something. It's awesome, and there's really
overall,
great bass groove.
I like them adding new, different mechanics.
Yes,
I like the fact that she doesn't really have like forced invincibility phases.
Yeah,
like with Yizhuan or Yixin,
sacrifice
where he has
not
like
sacrifice. Yeah, I know what you're talking about with the lizard,
possessed or whatever they called him before they. But like where there's periods where you're like, I just like he's literally just flying around, like I can't even fight him.
Wait.
I would prefer some stuff where I can actually do something to where I'm just like sitting there.
Exactly. I don't think every new boss should have control skills because I think that would get annoying. But I enjoy it, and that totally isn't impacted by the fact that I may or may not be obsessed with Vesper at this point. If you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. We should be on all major podcast apps. We're also on YouTube. If you're one of those people who likes to just kind of put a YouTube video on in the background, Brian and I make great background noise if you're not actively listening to it. There it is. I was waiting to start making
different kind of background noise.
Our next episode will be out 2 weeks from now. It'll be out on March 19th. At that point,
Arya will be out.
And we may know a little bit more about Nengong and Sissia, or what's going to be happening in 2.7.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll talk about Arya, and we'll keep exploring all the cool things as we wrap up season 2.
Yeah.
Brian, it was fun, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the idols more than I thought I would. They're doing a good job of they are continuing to make cool and interesting characters. So far, there's not really been one that's been a dud. Yeah. Either they're really fun to play, they're really interesting, or they're both.
Or they're Haru Masa.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Poor Haru.
Oh no. Well, that's it for us. Come back in 2 weeks, and we'll see if Brian was able to avoid rolling for Arya.
Hey now.
I know you, man.
No, you don't. I could do anything.